Hi everybody, it's me, the Fetch, host of Inside the Eye Live. Before the Sunday mainstream media political pundit talk shows, there's Inside the Eye Live, where we break down some of the weekly mainstream media talking points before the talking points even get aired. Add in some entertaining stories, weather, cats, intriguing and informative guests, and you get one of the most listened to Saturday morning streaming media political talk shows going today. And it's all right here on our flagship station, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. So join me, the Fetch, for Inside the Eye Live every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. It is truly intelligent media for the politically aware.
Welcome to Sacred Matrix, a divine paradigm of love and universal consciousness, with your host, Janet Kira Lessin and Dr. Sasha Lessin.
Together, we transform the world.
And now, here are your hosts, Janet Kira and Dr. Sasha Lessin.
Gordon James Giannanotto, Robert Potter, and Alfred-Robert-Gordon-2015-03-29. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of things, consciousness, solutions, whatever comes up to the top. And before I bring on, I want to just give you a little what we're going to do here. The panel, we're going to start with 5 minutes, and I'm going to time it. And we're going to start with Alfred, who was the senior, and then down the line, I'm not sure who next is older, but I think it might be Gordon, but it could be Robert. But before we do that, we're going to bring on Dr. Sasha Lessin, who's going to say hi to everybody.
Hi to everybody.
And what would you like to say before we do this show tonight about our guests?
Oh, I think we have some dynamite guests today, and we're going to get the latest from each of our perspectives, what each of us have been into. It's the hottest topic for each one of us.
Right. These are three of my good friends. I've gotten to know all three of these people, and they're just awesome. I had divine guidance to pull them all together because there's some kind of message for each other and for the whole planet with this group of stuff that we will create here tonight. So, Alfred, we're going to begin with you. Could you please come on and tell everybody, our listeners, what you've been up to and what's hot and what's not?
What's hot?
And what's not? Yeah,
or what's cool?
Burning chair.
Or what's cool?
Yeah, what's cool? Yes.
Well,
a little bit about yourself.
Sorry.
And a little bit about yourself. So, I mean, it's been a while since. I mean, you're a regular guest, but there might be new listeners who just want to tell our listeners a little bit about who you are.
Sure. I'm Alfred Weber. I live in Vancouver, Canada, and I'm a futurist. And I've written books on exopolitics, which is the science of relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. And I've written a book on the omniverse, which I think is the first formal book ever written on the omniverse. And the definition of the omniverse is all the universes in the multiverse plus the spiritual dimensions. It's everything that is. And I'm now, like all of us, actively involved in helping transition to upper dimensions, self-awareness, and the shift from war, disease, crime, and poverty to landing heaven on earth.
Excellent. And anything else you want to share, or we go to Gordon?
Well, sorry, is that question?
We'll give you 5 minutes. Give me your 5 minutes to start.
Specifically, the things that I'd like to talk about tonight, and I'm also awaiting the other panelists, because then there'll be interactivity, and that's the greatest part of these panels. Are number one, the positive timeline equation, which is positive future equals positive timeline plus unity consciousness, and that's a structural element in our time-space hologram that I believe occurred, that I believe is pushing forward, that shifted our planet on December 21st, 2012, or thereabouts, into a new positive timeline and reality from an old catastrophic timeline. And now we're in a situation where 7 billion humans and a bunch of controllers, the controllers know that we're in a positive timeline. Some of them favor it, most of them do, and there are a bunch of others that are trying to either keep the human race hoodwinked that we're still on a catastrophic timeline, or they're trying to cut deals to get on the positive timeline. And I'd also like to talk about the situation in the United States, which seems to be the one holdout nation that's ready to take the planet down. Not the nation, but the United States corporation, and that is the 2016 situation and all the options of all the factions in the United States, ranging from military coup to UN invasion to cancel the election to Jeb Bush and a Cuban vice president to Hillary Clinton to Andy Basiago and to the collective presidency, which is a new effort that's being launched because there are new polls showing that 60% of Americans say that the Democratic and Republican parties do such a poor job of representing the American people that a third major party is needed. And that's the collective presidency. And so we'd like to talk about that. So we'll go everywhere from the Omniverse down to, hey, there's huge amounts of radiation coming out from Fukushima plant. So do you have to watch what you eat or not?
Excellent. I love it. Okay. So we're going to go over to, and by the way, Gordon is an attorney or a former attorney, and Alfred is an attorney judge. And so that should be interesting. Okay, let me reset this. Gordon, hi. And what would you like to cover?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I've got Janet, my wife, Janet Stanley, whose picture is on my Skype screen there.
Wait, you're coming in garbled. Say that sentence again, please.
So I've got my wife.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Gordon. Who you are, where you're calling from, and what topic.
Oh, I'm going to. I moved to Maine 30 years ago to get ready for pole shift, and I own a mountaintop 2 miles back from the Gulf of Maine, and I look out at.
Kiko, you got 5 minutes to share about what you want to cover tonight. What you think is hot topics, where we should go with this conversation. You heard what Alfred said today. You want to do something similar, or just put out your topics that you'd like to cover tonight. 2 hours that we have. A little bit about yourself.
Interrupted me for another minute, so I don't know where I'm at with my time schedule.
Okay, you got about 4 minutes left.
Been in contact with extraterrestrials since I was a child, and probably 20 to 50 million people.
I don't know if you're breaking up or if I'm not sure what's going on.
And in 1988, I had a saucer come from the Pleiades, and I boarded it consciously. They told me they were coming. And when I was talking to a psychic who reads the Akashic Record later after that, she said, "You've never had a partner on your wavelength." Why don't
Uh-oh.
was animals, especially cats. And then a year later, I met her, and
I'm not Sean. I'm not sure if Gordon is breaking in and out for you.
Yes.
It's okay. Maybe you want to switch to a phone with him. Is that the Skype going crazy because he's got the new Skype? By the way, everybody, don't install the new Skype. It's full of problems. Sasha, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Hello. This is Dr. Sasha Lesson. I'm an anthropologist. I'm a student of the late Zechariah Sitchin. And, of course, what's up for me is the realization after immersing myself in this material that the geneticists, Anunnaki geneticists from Nibiru who adapted their genome to Earth 450,000 years ago, intended for us to do better than they did. They were very self-serving, and it was their hope that we would become conscious of and serve others. And that's and it's in terms of the subjects that Alfred has brought up. It's obvious to me that the representative farce that pretends to be democracy in this country is absolutely not working, and that the individuals and the consciousness of individuals is no longer being respected and supported. And I would hope that we would explore ways of doing better.
Thank you, Sasha. I'm not sure where we are with Gordon. And Sean, were you able to get Gordon back on, or has Robert shown up?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
But,
Hi. This is Robert?
That's Gordon.
Oh, it's Gordon. Okay, Gordon, let's try this again because I don't know what was going on, but we couldn't hear you at all. So let's start again with you and let's see if we can get a better. Are you on your phone or are you still on Skype? Anyway, go ahead and talk.
Okay, well, as long as you can hear me. So after I went on a saucer from the Pleiades in 1988, I had a tall, half Scandinavian, half Scottish, and good sense of humor, psychic, sees UFOs. And I went out to lecture on UFOs a year later, and
it's not working, Gordon. You keep fading in and out. So, okay, yeah. So we're going to go with phone, and we'll Sean's going to try to pull you in on the phone. Okay, so just pay attention to that, and we're going to have a little sound on the phone while we pull in Gordon James, Gianna Noto, and don't add the new Skype.
This should be a lot better.
Okay. And I'm getting a thing from Robert Potter. He's ready to be brought in. So maybe we'll do all our noise, calling people and pulling them in, and we can...
Let every sound of a telephone take you into a deeper state of consciousness.
Okay, good. Bear with us, listeners. This is a day full of technical difficulties. Everywhere I go, there's technical difficulties. It must be the solar flares. We'll talk about that too.
Rob's here.
Okay, Rob. Okay.
Yeah.
You in. So, Rob, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
And we have Gordon James Giannanota. We're working on getting him in. He was trying to Skype. It wasn't working. And Alfred-Robert-Gordon-2015-03-29. And we're doing 5-minute rounds. And we'd like you to share who you are and what topics you might want to cover tonight. And then we're going to do a round 2 after we get, this is 5 minutes, okay?
Okay,
and
sounds great.
Go ahead and start talking. Let's
All right.
about who you are and what you'd like to cover today. What topic?
Okay, my name's Rob. I'm basically just a normal person like everyone else here, trying to figure out and search for the truth and look for it anywhere I can find it. From an early age, as you know, I had a deep desire to know what's going on the planet. I kind of came in through a metaphysical and a spiritual searching background, and I was very close to nature. And I kind of, through my experiences with Dr. Fred Bell and the extraterrestrial contacts, kind of came into a realization that we're not alone and that we could actually move forward and fix our world's problems with in a highly technological way. We didn't have to go back to the caveman, because my first impression was that we had really messed things up, in the sense that the things were that the Earth was very technologically destroying nature. And I think that's a very important part of what's going on. I have a deep love and respect for the ocean. And I just looked at a interesting thing I'm going to ask your readers to look for. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Mission Blue, by a scientist, a female scientist who's noticed she has a great history in the ocean. She's kind of like the female Jacques Cousteau. And her name is, I think it's Sylvia Earle. But she has chronicled the death of the oceans, the coral sea, the death of the numbers of fishes that we're having. We have a tremendous deforestation of our planet going on. Man-made technology is creating excessive carbon dioxide and particulate matter, which is destroying the negative ions, which is responsible for the electricity that we breathe in the air. The very life force from the air comes from some sources. That's plants, water meeting air, and thunderstorms is where we get our oxygen or negative ion. And everyone thinks that trees are important. They are the lungs of the planet, but actually it's mostly phytoplankton in the Earth's oceans. And we're creating dead zones, especially around civilizations. The runoff from pollution is destroying our oceans. So I have a deep love and respect for our natural environment and pollution that's taking place, not only in the air and the water, but within the electrical vibratory frequencies of the planet in regards to the technologies that we use today. So I've been very much a proponent of healing our planet and respecting nature. I think this is a paramount cause that we need to have. And so from my desire to heal and find out what's going on the earth, I kind of fell into this spiritual extraterrestrial cultural milieu from my experiences. And of course, with my contact experiences and stuff like that I've had at over 40, it's got to be 42 or 43 years now, I've been studying the subject and kind of remained on the sidelines till about 2012, where I decided to come out and share my experiences. I want to say that I don't know everything, that I think that many people have wonderful, positive information. I don't claim to know it all. I think that we're always learning and growing, and that we need to take a very close look at our world situation as individuals and think to what is going on in the world. We have some very profound revelations coming forth from, as I prophesized in the beginning, I said, wait till the secret space program guys come out and we start getting those stories. Well, there's a guy now called Good ET, who's been releasing information from his acting as a secret liaison to various ET groups with various members of the Earth's and various extraterrestrial races, talking about what's going on planet Earth and the fact that we're not alone. There's lots of confusion and disinformation, and I think that we need to keep an open mind of what is real, and we need to go inside ourselves and find a spiritual center, a connection to our own spiritual source, so to speak, of direct knowing of our relationship to the cosmos and understand ourselves on a metaphysical level, who we are as physical beings. We are electrochemical communities of cells, and yet we are electromagnetic toroids of light. We are actually soul consciousness beings. And I think this is an important aspect of this new movement for truth, is to not only understand what's going on politically on the world, with all the negative things going on from, genocide, orchestrated wars, manipulation of food, vaccinations, fluoridation, chemtrails, irradiated food, assault on our DNA from extremely low frequency HARP programs run along power grids, scalar wave technology, plasma field generators. All of these things, we need to understand who we are and how we interact with our environment and how we perceive.
Okay, so, I'm going to stop you right there, Robert.
Sorry.
The time is up.
Okay.
I don't know if you could hear the timer when it went off. I'm going to just have to.
I did, and I apologize, and I'll mute. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. So thank you. We will come back. We're going to go round table, round robin, and we're going to go back to Gordon, James Giannotto. Let's see if we got a better connection. Tell our listeners about you and what are the topics you might want to cover tonight. And take it away, Gordon.
Okay, now that I'm on my cell phone, I think this will come in a little better. I hope so.
It is, way better.
Good. So I was saying that I've been in touch with extraterrestrials all my life, consciously, telepathically, seeing them. And then I taught myself telepathy starting in 1968. In 1988, I actually had a saucer come from the Pleiades. They told me they were coming to take me on board, and I had a 4-hour discussion about the future of Earth. And after that, I talked to a psychic who said, "You've never had a partner on your wavelength. Why don't you ask the ETs to find one?" And I thought, well, as long as I'm doing that, why don't I be specific? So I said I wanted her 6 feet tall, blonde hair, blonde and reddish hair, blue eyes, half Scottish, half Scandinavian, psychic, super intelligent, artistic, loves animals, especially cats, believes less is more, and sees UFOs all the time, and psychic. And then a year later, I went out to lecture, and I met her. And the next day, I had her move in with me, and we've been together 25 years. And we live on a mountaintop 2 miles back from the Gulf of Maine in a 34-acre blueberry farm looking out at 300 islands in the Gulf of Maine. And we've had between 3 dozen and 4 dozen incidents where we've had saucers in our yard, ETs in our dooryard, and ETs in our house. And we've done over 700 interviews in 105 countries, and we're not selling anything. So that's my background, I guess. And what I'm interested in is telling everybody that imagine you're the creator and you're sitting there and you haven't done anything yet. You could do anything, but you haven't done a damn thing. And you're thinking that you know everything. So you're thinking, I'm kind of stuck floating here in paradise. How could I take my own self to my own next step? And then you get this brilliant idea. What if you divide your body into trillions of parts and set them free in their own universe where they forget they're part of the creator, and then on their own through living as minerals, plants, animals, and then humans, they can develop until they are as wise and all-knowing as the original creator, and then all the parts will get back together eventually, and the creator will have taken itself to its own next step. So I see Earth as a school where it's about to have a graduation to the next dimension. And I don't worry about any of the political conspiracies, the environmental conspiracies, none of it, because the Earth is a big mess and it's going to take a big broom to sweep it clean. And that's the upcoming pole shift from Planet X, which could be avoided if 90% of the population followed the golden rule, but we're nowhere near that at this point. And I'll give it to the speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Your turn.
Hold on. I'm gonna pass some commenting in this round because I want to get more deeper into the issues. But it seems like there's a little bit of a pattern emerging with this group gestalt here. We've got aliens definitely in common. and the environment is in common. And politics or not politics is debatable. But do you want to say something before we go back to Alfred?
No, let's go in order.
Robert?
Okay, so back to you, Alfred. Alfred was first, so back to Alfred-Robert-Gordon-2015-03-29. You there? Are you there, Alfred?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay.
No. I'm back, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to speak to.
Okay, go ahead, Sash.
I think that I would like to hear how you think we can transcend this farce that we call representative democracy, which is really run by the cabal, which has been left by the Anunnaki and has been using the opium trade to finance murder and division on this planet. What solutions do you see?
Well, that's a tall order.
Well, anything you want to talk about, Alfred? What's bubbling to the top for you this round based on
but I'm not being allowed to get a word in edgewise. That is, I went to answer one thing, and then Sasha asked me something, and I went to answer his, and now I'm supposed to answer something else. So, what do you want me to answer?
Whatever you want to do. Your choice.
Okay, because I was going to answer Sasha, and then there were a whole bunch of other thoughts that came in mind. I think that I think that structurally the video game has changed from 2012 forward, and that structurally it's possible to have a pole shift. We did a program on that a couple of weeks ago, which everybody's welcome to listen to, and of course the Inuit here in Canada have been saying that the poles are shifting, and the galactic the galactic fleet are saying that if you listen to some of the interpretations, the magnetic pole shift is, all of these scenarios are happening, but with the shift of the to the positive timeline, there's not going to be a hard landing. It's all going to be a soft landing. And there are even people, if you want to listen to our panel that we did on the pole shift, that say that what's really happening is that there's been an artificial sun. There's been kind of a construction built around Earth, which is inside it, that there's an artificial sun, a techno sun, and which includes a brown dwarf, and that we're all being transported like, all of Earth is being transported out of the Milky Way, which is going to collapse toward Orion. So, there's multiple interpretations going on of the fact that we've shifted over to a positive timeline inside the structural component of our hologram. The two basic components being that we're in a hologram, which is composed of timelines. And then whatever the content of that is, whether there's axis shifts going on, which I believe that there is, but it's under evolutionary over control, and it's not under a hard landing, that's fine. And that if you look at the equation again, which is positive future equals positive timeline plus unity consciousness. Gradually now, we're beginning to get this across to the elites as well as to the people in an awakening, and that the conversation that has recently started is with the elites in a truth and reconciliation process. Because about 2 weeks ago, I asked the question and put it all over Facebook and Twitter and all of that. What would it take for the controllers to go from wanting to depopulate and torture humanity to agreeing to provide the platform and conditions for humanity to thrive? And we're talking about all the controllers in the dimensional ecology that we include here, because if all of a sudden there was an end to that war, the multi-dimensional war on the inner and outer, then we could all step back and say, okay, so what do we really want? Now, it may be that the controllers think that they ran out of time because all of their plans to destroy the planet by 2012 have failed, so they feel that they're boxed in here and they're on a scorched earth policy. So if we offer them clemency and say, look, let's go into a truth and reconciliation process. It's been happened in many, many different occasions, starting in South Africa and others. And there's a contactee who wrote a book called Jim Sparks. And he, in fact, I wrote a blurb that is supposed to be on the back cover. And there, during one of his, and Jim Sparks became one of the keepers, meaning that he would be abducted in large-scale abductions to kind of be a trustee to the humans and to kind of keep humans calm during abductions. And what Jim Sparks said in that book is that, yeah, I was surrounded by a bunch of reptilians and greys and others, and they said the only way out of this is to have a truth and reconciliation process. And so I believe that the way through is a truth and reconciliation process with the controllers. And so that's why I've said that, say, for 2016 in the US, let's call off the matrix. The name of the matrix is Republican versus Democrat. And let's introduce a collective presidency. And let's have a truth and reconciliation process. So everybody gets to come forward, including the Dracos, including the Orions. We'll have them say, oh yeah, well, we signed the treaty in 1933 with Eisenhower. The guys who signed that treaty are still around. I mean, the Greys. And we'll have the Dracos there, and we'll have everybody there, and we'll have a truth and reconciliation process. Because there's going to be Armageddon. The good controllers aren't going to allow that because of evolutionary overcontrol. So, I say let's stop all this drama, and let's have a truth and reconciliation process, and let's turn the planet around, go from a planet of war, disease, crime, and poverty to a planet of creating paradise on earth. And I say call off the event instead of saying that we're going to arrest them all. Say, because that's what has them up in arms, and we're in a Mexican standoff. And so I say, let's get rid of the Mexican standoff. In fact, I was called in a recent panel, I was called an Andromedan arbitrator.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm an Andromedan arbitrator that's been called in to arbitrate among the warring parties in all dimensions on Earth. So my word is call off the event, call off all this mutual genocide by both sides, and let's sit down and arbitrate. So that's what I say.
Thank you. I didn't know if you heard the alarm or not.
No, it's impossible to hear the alarm. We don't hear anything.
You don't hear it. Okay,
no.
It doesn't work. Okay. Well, I'll just have to somehow interrupt. I'll start coughing or something.
Okay. So do we have 5 minutes?
I want to get the panelists' opinions, and I think you were next, or then we went to Robert. So I forgot if you were next or Robert.
Let Robert go next.
Okay, Robert, let's go to you. Okay.
The same question?
Yeah, let's just go same question or same topic and see what you have to add to this mix. Okay, Robert, your turn.
If you can give me a 60-second warning, to say 60 seconds, that would be good. I can wrap it up that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with Alfred. I think obviously peaceful reconciliation is a way to go. I'm not sure that is possible, or if we could actually get all of the players to come out of the shadows, those who are manipulating behind the scenes with higher technology, or those who have what Alfred calls a transhumanist, or the implanted technology that's available. I don't know. From my experience, which of course is only limited from my own personal viewpoint, I always need to indicate that I don't know everything. I feel that a lot of the information that we've been given has been compartmentalized for a long time, and we're just now starting to get the overview of what's going on. And we have a lot of situations to sift through with information and disinformation and truth and not so much truth. But basically speaking, if I think about the pole shift, I personally think that, like Alfred said, that on our planet, unfortunately, it's a regular cyclic event due to our situation here. From my understanding, it's because of the quarantine situation and the history of our planet that we have a pole shift every so many thousand years, and it takes place like clockwork. I think someone told me it's like 120,000 years, but I think that can shift to a more stable environment if humanity would come together in more of a spiritual relationship with nature. My understanding. I'm getting a lot of feedback here. Someone needs to. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, is everyone muted? Hello. Okay, I'm going to call right back.
Okay, we're getting some strange feedback here. Interference by the Illuminati powers that be.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm not echoing now, so that's good.
Okay,
so
good. Okay.
I would say that the pole shift, from what I understand, at this point in time, someone's not muting. I cough. So, but the pole shift at this point in time, as I understand it, is being mitigated by the benevolent extraterrestrial forces who are constantly adjusting the various life streams on the planet to protect the life on the surface. My understanding also is that there is a much larger contingent of benevolent forces than there are negative forces at this point in time, and that the situation with the negative forces is hopefully in a position to be healed on some level, but I don't really know. I'm not out there. I don't know if we actually can know unless we actually have a face-to-face communication, and different extraterrestrial races have different agendas. Now, according to this guy that's come out, the good ET guy that David Wilkoff talks about, there's lots of possibilities for different races having different agendas. And we basically, I think we need to become sovereign. We need to have them all come out and say, thank you for being here, whatever you think you needed to do, step away, let us have our sovereignty, our freedom from tyranny, and we don't need any of your proxy implanted mind-controlled subjects running our world. Step away from us.
60 seconds.
Allow us to move forward on our own. So my feeling is that there are potent spiritual forces that are going to be mitigating a pole shift, that it will take place more gradually. I've heard a lot about Planet X. I still have yet to have anyone tell me where it's located, so I could take my telescope, climb up to the top of Haleakala, and look at it and see it for myself. So until I actually see Planet X, I'm not going to, there's a lot of information out there, but until I actually see it. The information from the Pleiadians talked about a comet they called the Destroyer, which used to come in every 3,600 years. And according to the Billy Myers, they bumped it out and it's no longer an issue for a certain type of pole or a disruption in our solar system. But I would say that reconciliation, whether it's through the event and a natural arrest process, these beings can be forgiven. But I think the hostile groups that are controlling our Babylonian world debt slavery system need to be removed from positions of power and responsibility. And I think the people need open disclosure of everything in our true history and what the governments are doing, and all the ET races need to come forward under a banner of honesty and transparency. And I'm not sure if there's a big enough force in the universe to allow this to happen other than the divine mind of the Almighty Creator, or whatever you want to call that, to allow it to happen. And I pray that it happens quickly. Hey, Alfred. Hi, Sean. Hey, Gordon. Haven't met you before, but God bless you all. I'll mute now.
Oh, you're leaving now? Okay.
Muted.
Stop.
I'm muted.
Oh, you're muting. Okay, you're done. Okay. Next, it's Sasha.
Yeah, from my perspective, I look at the universe, as Talbot put it, as holographic, and that within each and every molecule on each and every one of us on this planet, there is a trace of the divine, the big think that we all are a part of, and we're all a part of it. And I think it's really of use to access that. What Paul Radin has shown, that in every culture, using the metaphors and the language available to that culture, people are able to transcend the separations and feel their oneness with each other and with nature. And I think there's a lot of information that says, indeed, we do have many extraterrestrial species that are concerned with reaching that divine congress with us and being able to transcend our differences and to synergize and to celebrate. And I do think it's a great deal of value to celebrate the life you have right now, because this is what you got, and if you die tomorrow, you'll die tomorrow. But today is the day that you're alive, so carpe diem.
Thank you, Sash. Okay, Gordon, your turn.
Okay, I don't know where to start with Alfred particularly, but also with Robert, but I'm going to try. First of all, the Milky Way is not collapsing, but it really doesn't matter what the hell it's doing, because we're not in it. We're in the Sagittarius galaxy, which is cutting through the Milky Way like a buzzsaw cuts through a sheet of plywood. And in 30,000 years, you'll be able to look back and see the Milky Way as a large white spot in the sky, but you're not going to be as close to it as you are now. So we're not moving towards Orion. The Milky Way is not collapsing. There is no magnetic pole shift. The core of the Earth is molten iron, and it has a North Pole. The crust made of granite floats on that, and the North Pole of Planet X is going to grab the mid-Atlantic rift and stop the rotation of the crust and slide the crust up over the North Pole and then let go of it, and the new North Pole will be Recife, Brazil. There are over 1,000 unselfish extraterrestrial races here on Earth right now, divided into 40 working groups, and Zetas have taken North America, including Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And when you have contact, it's invariably through the Zetas. There is no making a silk purse out of a sow's ear. And those who die by the sword will die by the sword. And reconciliation is a nice thought if we're not going to have pole shift and we're not going to have a graduation to another dimension. Then, yeah, try and reconcile people who won't reconcile. Go ahead. But the thing is that a big bloom that comes every 3,657 years and is here now is about to cause geographic pole shift, and about 90% of the population is going to die. And after the pole shift, there's going to be democratic survival communities, no governments, no religions, no economies, no banks. And then gradually, as the number of unselfish people increases to 90%, at that point, there's going to be open contact with ETs, with the whole world, and they're going to be unselfish, and the Earth will be a fourth-dimensional planet where no selfish person can possibly survive. All the selfish extraterrestrials, and every race has the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you can't just say bad Dracos. There's good ones, too. So every race has been told that they have two choices, either turn to light and love or leave. And, of course, a lot of them have left, but some of them have said, no, we're going to stay and continue to mess with humanity. Well, they're going to die out because they cannot survive on an unselfish planet. When they die, they'll be reborn on a planet where everyone is as or more selfish than they are. The people who have not made a conscious choice to be unselfish will be born as sea creatures where possessions will not get in their way, and they will not be on the Earth either. The new race on Earth into which everyone will be born is being created now, and it's a Zeta hybrid race, 100% human. People will live 400 years, have IQs of 300, and be in telepathic contact and with each other, and everyone will be empathetic, caring, kind, and considerate. And this is about to happen as soon as next year, possibly. Anyone can go outside with a camera and point it at the sun and take a picture. No telescope will help you, nor is it necessary, and you'll end up probably blind. You just hold your camera up, take a picture of the sun, and look at the giant glowing caterpillar from the 3 o'clock to the 5 o'clock position on the side of the sun. It's 65 million miles from the sun and 35 million miles from the Earth, not in a straight line. So if you draw a string from the center of the Earth to the center of the sun, it's off to the side. You can't see it because it's lit from behind by the sun, but the twin-stranded tail, which sometimes looks like wings, is visible before sunrise and after sunset as a pink cloud in the sky, which you might mistake for something local, but it's not. It's up in space, and it's the tail of Planet X loaded with iron oxide, because Planet X is a 29,000-mile diameter oceanic, volcanic, and atmospheric planet with selfish humans on it that are not allowed to come here, and we're not allowed to go there. And the tail will brush the Earth and put tons of red iron oxide into the ocean, which is the number one food that plankton like. And when plankton turn that into food at the base of the food chain, it will suck up all the CO2. Global warming from fossil fuels has been a giant lie, and the first volcano that goes off that's large enough is going to make all of that moot, because there will be more carbon dioxide, and almost every volcano on Earth is going to go off, because this time the pole shift is going to be 92 degrees. Last time it was from Greenland to the Arctic, about 12 degrees. So this is huge. And the question is, before you die, have you made a conscious choice to organize all your intentions and behavior around unselfishness? And even if you have only 5 minutes to live, if you have to make that decision that you should spend it to help other people rather than take advantage of other people. So this is a final exam test. It's school. Nobody's being allowed to cut class. None of the elite are allowed to leave the Earth and go somewhere and come back as kings of the Earth. So I personally do not worry about what any conspiracy is doing, any government. I have no hope of reconciliation, wouldn't even try it, because I can just imagine how reconciliation with Dick Cheney would go. So, but anyway.
Okay,
it's all
you're out of time right now. We're going to have to...
Thanks for all the good news, Gordon.
Thank you. Thank you. I tried to get a lot in there.
I'm going to say something this round, just because as a contactee experiencer that was taken and shown the 24 multiverses and the potentiality of all the way from the Gordon type apocalyptic outcome all the way to utopian, the positive timeline. These are our possibilities that I was shown, and I'm rooting for something in the positive timeline because I don't really want to go through that. I hope my friends don't go through that, and I love humanity, and I love this earth, and I just don't want to see it. So that's just my 2 cents. As an Anunnaki researcher, wait, let me finish my turn, then we can go on. As an Anunnaki UFO researcher, Planet X researcher, I know we have, according to the Anunnaki information in the Sumerian and all these things that we've transcribed, that in 450,000 years of Planet X coming through the inner solar system here, we only have a few apocalyptic type experiences. And so once again, I am rooting for some kind of positive outcome. And then we have evidence there is something coming in, not sure exactly if it's the Nibiru, the brown dwarf, a moon, the complete solar system. I've seen all kinds of pictures and not 100% sure what is coming in. So we have a lot to discuss. And so I've just lost my computer, so I can't do the time. Let's see, it's 52. We're going to be going to commercial in 4 minutes, I think. Would you like to say something, Sasha, before we go to commercial break? And I'll try to get my computer back on.
Okay. Well, I really would like to look with Alfred at the specifics of this non-choice we have between Hillary and Bush, or the bizarre choices that we have with this false representative democracy, and look at what if we do go on to the positive timeline with a collective leadership, which is a very intriguing idea. I'd really like to hear a lot more about that.
Okay, do you want to give Alfred a chance?
Yeah.
We've got 3 minutes. We'll let him finish after the break. Okay. Sorry about that. We didn't quite time this right. But go ahead, Alfred. Address that.
First of all, I make a motion that we have 10-minute segments, not 5. It's too much like sound bit television.
We'll do that.
It's so much like soundbite television. Okay, basically, I'd just like to make this comment. If you go into people, for example, Chet Snow, I was interviewing someone earlier today who is familiar with the works of Chet Snow, who has forward regressed people rather than regressing them into past lives. And collectively, he comes up with 3 timelines. One timeline is the catastrophic one, and that's one of the timelines that I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. Is it Greg?
Gordon and
Gordon. Sorry. That Gordon talks about, of kind of the a swift kick in the pants, and then we've got to do 9500 BC all over again, and then a middle one is that something, this planet does its truth and reconciliation process, and it just goes right through. And then on another timeline, humans are going through out to space. So in the groups that he selects, their progeny are either out in space, colonizing space in a positive way. Their progeny are out in the turning, let's turn paradise Earth into paradise on Earth, or their progeny are in the, let's do 9500 BC when Atlantis and Mu went down, and we're kind of building back up from there. And I think that that's the nature of time now. We've shifted onto a new positive timeline, and that means that there are new rules to the game. And I can remember going in the 1980s, in 1982, up to Mount Tuam. I was then organizing the Peacequake concert. Talk about it later.
Okay, we will be back in 5 minutes. Thank you for being part of it. Everybody mute. We'll be back soon. Aloha, everybody, and welcome back to the Sacred Matrix on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com with your host, Janet Carol Lesson and Dr. Sasha Lesson. And we are having a panel discussion with Alfred-Robert-Gordon-2015-03-29, Gordon James Giannotto, Robert Potter, and me, and Dr. Sasha. And we're going to switch this time. I think somebody's typing, so maybe you want to mute in between. We're going to do 10-minute segments, and we have an hour left, so that'll give us 50 minutes and some wrap-up time. And if you do want to pass before the end or give the rest of time to somebody else, then you may do so. Just state it out loud. I will say 60 seconds when we're getting to that point, and then I'll say 10 seconds. Somebody's got some noise going on there.
That's Press TV from Tehran wanting me to report on live television.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what it is. What did you say, Alfred? Okay. So we're going to go back to the timer. I got to set the timer. Hello? Oh, I think I got booted off.
We were at Alfred had 3 minutes in. He's got 7 minutes left.
Okay, 7 minutes. All right, let me go back to the timer. Get that going here. And here we go. 7 minutes. Alfred, start again. Alfred, are you there? Okay. Not sure what's going on here. Can somebody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Alfred, can you hear me? Okay. Then I guess we'll go on to, who was next? Rob. Rob, how about you start, and then we'll go back to Alfred, give you 7 minutes.
Okay. What are we gonna? What was there a specific question or anything I was supposed to address here, or?
Well, you can address what the other participants have been talking about, or you can start with your own thread and Josh, what did you want to say?
I hear Alfred's back.
Bob, as far as I'm concerned, and I want to say hello to Bob and Alfred, who I've never spoken to before, so it's a pleasure to be on with both of you, and I think you should just say whatever is in your heart.
All right, brother. Well, thank you. I really, your information there was extremely fatalistic, and no disrespect to you, but the future has not arrived yet. No one knows what's going to happen. There's lots of more powerful things that happen, especially when we're dealing with a hologram. I like to think of creation as a kind of like a fountain just manifesting in the middle of the air, just constantly changing, infinite permutations of infinite sound, light, and color, multidimensional reality. On a cosmic level, the end is not ever finished. That there's constantly change. Life is respected. I don't really, and I'm not asking for a response here, but I don't really get this other sun or moon or whatever. I certainly think that it would be seen. We could point a telescope at it and see it. So until that's given to me in a more evidentiary way, I'm not going to go by any YouTube or anything like that, or any pictures that I've supposedly seen. The sources that I've worked with don't indicate anything in regards to a planet called Nibiru. The Pleiadians very clearly indicated there was a comet. Someone's typing. I'm going to ask you to mute if you're typing on a computer there. We're hearing lots of typing there. Standard radio etiquette there. We mute when we're not on. But anyway, when we're dealing with the Pleiadian information, they clearly indicated that there was a planet or a comet they called the Destroyer that would come by and have certain influences within our solar system, and they maintained that they bumped it away, and that is no longer an issue. The story of Nibiru as a planet, bigger than the sun or as big or 29,000 miles across, the pictures that I've allegedly seen certainly would indicate that it's much larger than 20,000 miles across in diameter. Until there's more evidence on that, I just have to be the devil's advocate here and say I don't necessarily have enough information for me to make a positive judgment. I will agree with you that the magma within the Earth is very important and actually reacts to human consciousness, and this is a big part of what's going on as far as the extraterrestrials' intervention to protect life and to see that this planet, if it does go through a pole shift or whatever change. A good friend of mine named J.J. Hurtak, extremely intelligent, extremely powerful being who has written a book called The Keys of Enoch. He describes what may take place, that the Earth in the solar system would go through a magnetic dip and would change its location in relationship to the galaxy. Whether that's true or not, again, the future hasn't taken place and we don't know. I think a more humble and reverential attitude of respect to the universe and to the divine intelligence of the Creator and a respect for sentient life needs to be explored, I would say, from multidimensional extraterrestrials as well as ourselves. I think that we have to, again, be responsible unto ourselves to raise our vibration. We may call that la land, but I think that's where ultimately the solution lies, is in our growth in our spiritual natures, in our soul, and coming into a closer association with the divine mind of the almighty intelligence of creation, which, I'm not going to designate it anthropomorphically or masculine or femininely, but to understand that there are various hierarchies and dimensions of beings who administer to the entire universe. That this is not just a willy-nilly materialistic universe that has no intelligence, rhyme, or reason. This is a hologram, if you want to call it that, but it is a living expression of a divine mind, and we're all part of that. And we have a unique situation on Earth due to our quarantine status as to the nature of what's been going on here. And I think that we need the whole truth. Not the truth shall set you free, but the whole truth will set you free. I feel that the other half of the story has to be told to humanity, and that's what a lot of the prophecies, what they call apocalypse, means revelation. I think that's what humanity is going through now, is a revelation of truth that cannot be stopped. I think that a lot of our problems are not really consciously intended by us to be created. I think it's mostly been a misdirection of humanity caused by hostile forces who have utilized various technologies of manipulation and control, not the least of which is a tyrannical financial system. It seems to me that a lot of people have a lot of greed and a lot of power, and as you said, you're not going to get an agreement from Dick Cheney. I personally don't think that these people can stick around in their positions and sit at the table and say, okay, I've reconciled, I'm still the boss. We're moving towards a non-hierarchical structure where people are empathic, where people are telepathic, where people are coming from their heart and they're moving forward. I don't think we need to destroy the entire planet. I don't think it's preordained. I don't think it's destined. I don't think it's inevitable. Until that day comes in a year, as you say, and I'm going to bet you in a year that, like every other person who prophesies something, that in a date it doesn't happen. Maybe I'll, if you give us an exact date or something, I could maybe have a party or something. But like it's 1999, as they used to say. But I really think that the universe will continue to grow and expand, and that we as souls will be drawn to those experiences that will reflect to us a more, I'd say, expansive reality to learn to grow. And I think the universe provides the experiences that we need to bring us back to our centers. We have to realize that on the earth, we are co-creating our reality. It's not just you think, oh, I want a car, and you create a car. That's not the way it works. We work within, there is a system of laws and energy systems which work in a natural order. And I believe that some of these systems themselves have been manipulated so that no matter what we do here, we are under the influence of a hijacked fractal, in a sense. There are certain portals and certain energetic principalities and powers which have been manipulated and are being used in a negative way by hostile forces which have kept humanity ignorant of its true divine nature. And I believe that this is coming out and that humanity will experience its own natural divinity and will move forward in a positive way to heal these situations. There may be more death and destruction. There may be earthquakes. Is the whole earth going to destroy, and will we be bathed in an iron cloud that'll turn the oceans red and destroy all life on the planet? I don't think so. I really don't. That's my opinion. Just as I'll have to say that, I believe that Gordon's is his opinion based on its information. I respect him from coming there, but it certainly doesn't resonate in my heart and soul. And I'm not an ostrich who puts my head down in the sand either. I just need more. I would need more evidence of a planet that's allegedly
60 seconds
that I can't seem to see. So I would say that the future is brighter as we turn our intention towards the truth within ourselves. And if we exercise our free will to raise our own vibrational frequency and be responsible for our consciousness and who we are, and to move forward in positive, loving actions, and to step away from a system of tyrannical control and manipulation which has left us ignorant of the truth, and to continue to grow and to keep an open mind is a positive thing in my mind. and no disrespect to you, Gordon, but it sounded pretty pretty fatalistic, and like it sounded to me like it was a done deal. And believe me, I don't think that.
10 seconds.
I have a little longer than that we have a little longer than a year before all this happens. But I pray you're wrong.
Okay, Todd. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to go back to Alfred and let him finish in 7 minutes. Alfred, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, here we go. Your turn. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying was this. Just to finish up on the timeline point, that I think it's absurd to think that we're having a Planet X event. And I've written a 27-page paper to prove so. And people can go to positivefuture.info, and there's the scientific equations there to prove it. Now, as a matter of time science, it's quite possible, and Chet Snow has put people into forward regression that all of the dimensional ecology negative programming and people who are attached to the catastrophic timeline can get sent into a time loop in which they'll experience Planet X. That's scientifically possible. And I urge people, including Gordon, who's promoting this view, to up his game and become more cognizant with time science in addition to astronomy and celestial mechanics. And my first book was written in 1973, published in 1974. It was on Planet X. It integrated the biblical prophecies with and the psychic prediction of Edgar Cayce with modern earth sciences and parapsychology. So I've been on the Planet X case now for over 40 years. And I think that at this point, we can't go and just swallow the views of Marshall Masters, who's a fundamentalist. And what he's doing is he's taking everybody into the black hole of the time loop of those who want to spend the next million years reincarnating into that catastrophe. Well, welcome, go for it. But there's other options. And the other options are the positive timeline. And that's what's happening now with this crucial shift in the timeline. Everybody, including the Lucifer Rebellion, Lucifer a million years ago when they did the rebellion, and the Anunnaki and all these are just Johnny-come-latelys interlopers. They knew that this time was going to come. And that was the whole point of 2012. And now there's a lot of bargaining going on, but we're willing to bargain. And we'll say, okay, let's have a truth and reconciliation. So we'll get as many people into the positive timeline as possible. If people still want to go ahead and promote time loops in the positive timeline called the catastrophic timeline, that's fine. We can show you evidence of people who have hypnotic regression to forward time loops in which they're living in, the post-catastrophic thing there. Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to go there. Okay, so that's enough there. Now, with regard to 2016, it seems that the last holdout nation on the planet is the U.S., or at least that's the game that the controllers are playing now. You realize that this is a video game, and they control all sides of the matrix. So they've set up the United States corporation, and those Americans who were brainwashed to salute the United States corporation and its gold-fringed flag, which they put in after the assassination of John Kennedy because it was a coup d'etat, or actually back in 1933 when martial law was declared, when Roosevelt came in and they had signed the treaty with the Dracos and the Orions. So first of all, you've got to begin to get your political science straight. You've got to get your exopolitics straight. You've got to get your time science straight to really understand what's going on. And so now it seems that the most objective way to look at world events now is that the United States corporation and its controllers are standing in the way of the planet going into lifting itself up by its bootstraps. 120 nations now are behind China and Russia and its new gold-based central bank, its currency, its shift from the reptilian mind to the hive mind. We're going from a reptilian planet to a mantid planet, an insectoid planet, which is fine, okay? Mantids are a step up from the reptilians. And that's why the U.S., which has been doing reptilian, has been playing reptilian, going around all the planet, blowing everybody up that they can on orders, because all that the U.S. corporation is the contractor that fights the wars on behalf of Vat-Lanusa, the three-state city empire of Vatican, London, and the District of Columbia. The U.S. was abolished in 1871 when the District of Columbia Act was passed. So what I say is that what has been created in the United States with its perpetual campaigns is a matrix to keep the people in there, and it's called the elections. And so we've devised a way to get the people out of the elections and to wake them up. I yield the balance of my time.
Thank you. Okay. Sasha, your turn.
Okay, from my perspective, in this holographic universe, the things that bug you or that you overly admire in others are really just unintegrated parts of the self, and so that if you dislike the violent or greedy parts of other people and that really bugs you, from my perspective, the job is to look at your own greed or selfishness or your own propensity to violence and ask those aspects of yourself. Greedy part, what do you really need? Angry part, what do you really need? Or you want to hurt people? Why do you want to hurt them? You'll get, if you keep pursuing these disowned internal parts, you'll find that their deepest needs are egocentric, that if you embrace them both the giver and the taker, you'll get to the place of real needs, like the need for attention, the need for recognition. And so if we can identify our own inner Dick Cheney, and you can, I believe that individuals and nations can ultimately see that we are all part of the divine, Om Namah Shivaya, that every aspect of reality is indeed something to contribute, and that every perspective has something of its light to shine. And if we can rise to the place of unity consciousness, we can see how it all can fit into a beautiful, beautiful picture of integration and a dance of consciousness. I know that's a bit hard for anyone to believe but me, but it works for me. And it's called centering. And ultimately, the center of the centers is the divine and the big think. That's all I want to say right now.
Okay, thank you. And Gordon.
Okay, well, I'd like to say, Alfred, it's a pleasure to be on the show with you. I've never spoken to you before, but I feel privileged to be on the show with you at the same time, so thank you. I don't know if you heard that, but anyway, listen, I am not Dr. Doom. I'm not
fine. Yeah, thank you. I'm just muted, that's all.
Okay. I'm not Dr. Doom, and I'm not saying all life will be destroyed. I said the granite crust which floats on the iron core will slide until there is a new North Pole. That's hardly destroying the Earth. And as for my background in astronomy, I started earning money at age 11, and the very first time I got any money at all, I bought a telescope. And I started reading sky and telescope. And when I was 15, I was selected as a future astronaut, and I was given a grant from the National Science Foundation. Instead of going to high school, I took a train into New York City every day from my home in Connecticut, and I was trained with over 100 people from the New York area who were described as the brightest students in math and science in the New York area. I was one of them. I was trained with astrophysics, physics, and astronomy starting at age 15 at the Hayden Planetarium in order to be a future astronaut. That was in 1963. So I do have a very scientific understanding and background. I graduated at the top of my class in high school, college, and law school, and I worked 50 hours a week to pay for my higher education. And when I graduated, I'd never had a loan, and I had paid it off. So that's just as an aside. People live 1,000 lifetimes before they finally wake up. And in that 1,000 lifetimes, it's like a soap opera. Different people, different times, different places, but they still go through the same things. And finally they wake up and go, is this all there is? And a secret door that they didn't notice opens in front of them, and they see there's a fork in the road. And the fork requires you to organize all your intentions and behavior around either selfishness or unselfishness. The third dimension is the same throughout the universe, and it's a chance for people to experience selfishness and unselfishness and make their own decisions. Earth is a dark planet surrounded by clouds of violence, greed, and anger, and all the unselfish people are like glowing candles in the darkness. They have bright white auras. They're really easy to pick out. There are over 7 billion unselfish extraterrestrials here on Earth right now in the fourth dimension, and they have identified every single one of the unselfish people, and they have individually offered each one of them a lift. That's what they call it, a lift at the time of pole shift, so they don't have to go through it because, as you both seem to understand very well, they don't need to go through it. But what's about to happen is a new world is being born. You are going to have a new body to live in. Now, the body that you're in is not going to last forever, and we're born on a planet, you're living on a planet, you're going to die on a planet. But your new body, should you choose to return to Earth, will be a hybrid Zeta who are 100% humans and hybrid Earth humans. And the reason why is the Zetas chose to clone themselves and cut out emotions and sex, but they developed a high telepathic ability, and the new race will be telepathic, sexual, empathetic, warm and emotional, and live 400 years. And in about 1,000 years, our destiny is to build a fleet of spaceships and take what we have learned by dealing with selfish people, and we're going to go out to the rest of the universe, and we will be known as the explorer race. We will go to planets where they've had problems they didn't solve for 100,000 years, and we'll click our fingers and go, that's easy, this is what you do. And so not everybody who dies in this lifetime will be reborn on Earth. The ones who have decided to become 99% selfish will be reborn on selfish planets. Those who have neither made a choice for selfishness or unselfishness will be reborn as sea creatures, which is a gift to them because they won't have to deal with possessions. Meanwhile, corporations will cease to exist. Banks will cease to exist. Governments, political parties, all of that will cease to exist. In the phase between pole shift and the graduation to the fourth dimension, which is the first time any planet in the entire universe has ever gone with life on it from the third to the fourth dimension. And that's what's attracted the attention of so many unselfish extraterrestrials from all over the universe. As for pole shift, I do not know when it was, and if I did know when it was, I wouldn't tell anybody because the selfish people would use that to take advantage of, to commit crimes for which they would figure they would never be convicted. If you look at the last pole shift, it happens to be in the Bible. First, the hailstorms took the fruit off the trees in Egypt. Then the hailstorm took the leaves off the trees. Then the iron oxide in the tail of Planet X, which is only 29,000 miles in diameter, 4 times the size of Earth, and it's in between the Earth and the Sun now, but off to the side where you can see it any day. You go spend $5 on a number 12 welding glass, 4 inches by 5 inches, and you pull it out and you hold it over your face and you look at the sun. You will see a glowing caterpillar on the side of the sun, and it's actually 2/3 of the way to Earth now. And a telescope will do you no good whatsoever. And believe me, I own a telescope. I've got friends with telescopes. I go to astronomy things, and a telescope, that's like trying to see the new moon, the face of the new moon just before a total solar eclipse. You're going to see nothing, but you are going to blind yourself from the sun's light coming through the focused glass. So you don't want to do that. You want to do what I said. Go outside and take a picture of the sun, and then tell me what that glowing area on the right-hand side in the 4 o'clock position is. When you explain that, you'll be explaining Planet X. You can say it wasn't moved or it was moved. You can say what you want. But the fact that anyone can go out and take a picture of it today and tomorrow and the next day means it's there. So, okay. Now, in 1650, Planet X came to BC. Planet X came to Earth, and it caused the 10 plagues of Egypt. And the tail of Planet X, or the iron oxide, poisoned the Nile. So with no fruit, no crops, and bad water, the Hebrews decided to move, and they did. Now, if you go to the Old Testament, Joshua chapter 10, you see that Joshua says, and he was in the middle of a battle, 40 years after they left Egypt, 40 years, they were in a battle, and he said the sun rose that day and did funny circles in the sky and set in a new direction. So from the moment of the plagues till the actual pole shift was 40 years. Planet X came around the face of the sun in December 2003. It had entered the solar system from the direction of Orion, constellation Taurus, and it had come here and come around the face of the sun going clockwise around the sun, and all the planets go counterclockwise. Gravity pushes, it does not pull. So when Planet X came around the sun, it stopped the Earth in its orbit. Venus and the dark twin of Earth came around from behind the sun, caught up with the Earth. You can very frequently see that on the German Antarctic webcam, where you see the sun rise and set, you see the moon rise and set, and then you see something else that's the same size as the moon rise and set. That's the dark twin of Earth. So nobody has ever mentioned that ever in any scriptures or descriptions of astronomy, except for one group, and that's zetatalk.com, where you can go and read about the dark twin of Earth. But anyway, there's a dance going on. Planet X is trying to go by. The Earth, Venus, and the dark twin are preventing it from going by because they want to go by. So it's like trying to catch a dog in the corner of the house. The dog darts to the left, you dart to the left. The dog darts to the right, you dart to the right. An hour later, the dog still hasn't escaped and you haven't caught him yet. So that's what's going on. And I do not know when it will end, but my wife is psychic, and she said the first tidal waves will be coming in, pushing ice flows. So I have 60 seconds?
Yes, 52.
Okay. So, so what's going to happen is all the unselfish people don't need to go through this, and they've been offered a lift. Many of them have refused because they want to stay to help other people. They don't mind sacrificing their life if they can help another person go more easily or whatever the situation is. Many people will be taken up and be brought to the fourth dimensional invisible domes where there are plenty of other humans that have already been taken from our current Earth situation. So there's really nothing to be fearful of. Janet and I spend many nights, and I mean many nights, on saucers where we go and pick up people from the community.
10 seconds.
And we stand there and we explain that this is what's about to happen. So it's a personal choice whether you're going to be a good person and you're going to live forever on an unselfish planet, or whether you're going to be selfish and live forever on a selfish planet. But this is the graduation from the third to the fourth dimension. To graduate to the next one, all is. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Time. Okay. We're going to go to 7-minute rounds. and we go back to Robert. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay.
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm. It sounds interesting to me. I really don't. I don't happen to have a piece of welder's glass with me, but I don't really understand how a planet that's 2/3 of the way here could be here. And you didn't say, you weren't Dr. Doom, but you did say 90% of life of humanity would be wiped out. That's pretty doom and gloom to me. But I'd like to move off the Planet X Nibiru thing, which is really not anything that anyone can do anything about anyway, if it is real. And I guess we can wait to the end of 2016, and if we're still alive and we don't see it, then I guess things have changed. But I guess I would like to ask you one question, Gordon. You're going physically aboard ships regularly now, every night, you say?
Yes.
Or is this
Yes.
you're physically
Yes.
going out and meeting them, and they're picking you up and taking you up above the earth?
Yeah, we've had, since Jen and I have been together for 25 years, we've had saucers in the yard, ETs in the yard, and ETs in the house, and we've been up on saucers, and we've met all kinds of races, and we've been taking groups of our local population up and telling them what's going to happen. And they do not consciously remember it the next day, but they will when it's needed.
Right. This is physically you're doing this. This is not an astral projection. This is they're landing in your backyard. You go, oh, it's good to see you. Let me finish my cup of coffee, and you're going up.
No, they don't actually land. They stay in the air and they pull us up.
Okay, so you're being beamed up physically, repeatedly.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty advanced level of contact, and that's going on repeatedly on a daily basis.
Not every day, but many days. Yeah, many days. Yeah.
And there's no interference from any governments. No one's noticing this that's taking place.
No, because like attracts like. So selfish ETs can't do anything with unselfish people, and unselfish ETs won't do anything with selfish people. And selfish people and selfish governments know that they better stay away from people who are in contact with unselfish ETs.
Yeah, I do know that there's people that do have experience. I've had some friends that been on board in Venusian craft and stuff like that, and they're protected, but they still do have attempts on their life and serious situations going on. And I actually know of a couple ETs that have been on the Earth, and they're not completely protected. They actually have to be very circumspect and security oriented. So I guess your situation is an exception there. And what is the name of the group that you're in contact with?
Well, through my wife, the Zetas, but they're the ones in charge of North America.
The Zetas, the little gray beings. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, I don't need to go there. I understand what's going on here. That explained it to me. I thought you
They're unselfish, and they're selfish. The selfish ones are working with the government, and the unselfish ones are working with individuals. So they're not all bad. You can't paint any race bad or good.
Yeah, there's obviously, I would agree with that. You can't put any racial genetic phenotype into a specific situation. Unfortunately, in my opinion, most of the people that have been involved with the Zetas believe everything is rosy. I believe a lot of it is manipulation and mind control and fear-based. But you've mentioned you had contact with the Pleiadians. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm a reincarnated Pleiadian. I came here about 25,000 years ago. I've lived many lifetimes since then, and they're the ones I'm in contact with. And my wife was in contact with the Zetas, and she's been having hybrid babies, and they've taken her back up to meet her children so they might get to know her mother. And some of the older ones are taking her on joy rides around the solar system. And they're just amazing. I never ask them anything for myself, but when I ask for someone else, they're right there helping. So I really, it's amazing. It's an amazing group, really.
Okay, and so when was the last time you had a physical contact with a Pleiadian extraterrestrial?
Well, that I know of was in December 1988.
Oh, okay. And what was it? Do you know the name of the ET or?
Yeah, most Zetas don't have names because they don't have mouths to speak with, voice boxes, so they don't have names. You just have to talk to them telepathically by thinking of them individually. But the Pleiadian that I spoke to, his name was Koss, and I think it's spelled KOS or maybe COS. But
okay, so you know a Pleiadian that had a gray body. Then is that what you're saying?
Did I what?
You're talking about a Pleiadian with a gray type body that doesn't have a mouth?
No, I'm talking about a Pleiadian that could walk down any street on Earth and you would not know he was from another planet unless you could see auras.
Oh, okay, because then I asked you his name and you said they don't talk because they don't have mouths.
No, I said the Zetas don't talk. I said the Pleiadians do talk and therefore they have names.
Right, of course, yeah. I was just trying to, and of course there's probably many different even racial groups in the Pleiades cluster. Okay, well, I appreciate that. So I appreciate the answer here. That clears up something for me from in regards to the Nibiru and the situation. And I just have my opinion there.
Yeah, because I have to say this, that I like a lot of what Billy Meyer said that Wendell Stevens wrote about, but I really don't like Michael Horn and all of the other things that Billy says, and I don't believe everything he says, and I think some of the pictures were faked, and he's certainly not the only Pleiadian contactee, which is what Billy Horn.
I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know, how many minutes do I have left, Sasha?
Yeah, 50 seconds.
Okay, I guess I'll let it go at that then, and thank you for clarifying that you're talking about the Greys and the Zetas. I was under the impression you were talking with the positive, benevolent ETs that
well, that's what I'm talking about. Positive, benevolent, unselfish ETs that are part of the Council of Worlds. There's over 1,000 groups here, and you can give Bob some of my time so he can continue.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to take your time. I'm going to let you talk, but for me personally, I guess, well, we could dialogue a little bit, I guess. For me personally, from my understanding, they said, consider the Greys like bugs. And there's definitely battles going on in regards to the way that they presented themselves and taking people's eggs and ovums from them and hybriding different people without permission is a violation of the Galactic Codex, which indicates free will and conscious contact. So I'm not exactly sure of every different ET group out there, but the experience that I had with Greys was very, very kind of negative. They kept trying to freeze me. I was protected. I've not had any negative experiences to my knowledge. And, I work with certain mantras and prayers invoking angelic presence protection. So I definitely feel like I'm protected on that level. I don't have any fear. I'm not limited to my body. And there were times when I felt, God, the world's really messed up. It might make sense to have a pole shift if we could start over again fresh. But I realized that later on the situation is actually due to manipulation of certain hostile groups who mind control people and present certain things and give them false memories and realities of what they're really doing. And that's probably could be true to a certain extent for other groups that we think are positive. I think the penny hasn't really dropped on the whole truth here. And, I'll remain open-minded. My general feeling is I think we can, you said next year, or, I'll give it 2 years. If I'm still around and the Earth hasn't been destroyed in 2 years, I'll guess I'll have to feel like my information or my judgment of this group in there.
You'll have to come to Maine and eat lobster with Janet and me.
Intoxication. All right. Well, thank you for that. I'll let you go on with your time there, but thank you.
Okay, we're actually going to come back to, we're going to go to Alfred. I'll start the timer over for Alfred, and then we'll divide time up what remains after Sasha. Okay. And, Sasha wants to go next? Go ahead. Okay, Sasha wants to go next. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I find that from my perspective, the dichotomy between a giver, unselfish, and taker, selfish, is a spurious dichotomy, and that it is of, I think, great value to embrace both the part of you that gives and the part of you that takes to assess the situations from your fair witness and to make a appropriate and calibrated response. But what I really want to say more than that, and for you people who are listening to me, I know you can understand this. I'd say dig what you've got, don't sweat what you've not. This is the best of time and the worst of time, and it's your time. My mantra is thank you, thank you, thank you. Good show.
There's different things like what Sheldon will talk about, or what the Zetas will talk about. Please.
You spent your time? Okay, hold on. Let me reset this timer. We're going to go to Alfred. Okay. Alfred, are you there?
Messages are positive except for
I am here.
And an X is coming.
Okay, take it away. And others, please.
There's information.
I want to. Where is it? The guy says I can take a picture. It's 2/3 the way.
Wait. Somebody's talking. It's Alfred's time.
From sun to us.
Okay, please use that Alfred talk. Okay.
Or something. And then 11 and 12.
Is that his wife?
Who? No, Nancy.
Sorry, somebody please mute so Alfred can take his time. Hello? Okay.
Hello?
Alfred, your turn. Go for it.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the conversation that says there's more heat than light being generated here.
They heard all that.
And the thing is that, everybody is just creating the reality that they're in more intensely. And all I can say to Gordon, if that's where you want to go, that's where you're going to go. You're going to go to that timeline. And hey, guys, it's been good knowing you. See you in a billion years. Okay? And
he's not back. He's not behind that any really shit either.
What?
It's not true. Now watch it fucking come.
Hey.
What?
So somebody's not muting, and they're conversing with somebody in the background. I'll give you some more time.
Okay. Well, it's now.
While Alfred's talking.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's now 6:45 Pacific time, which means that we have 15 minutes left, right?
Right.
So we should be summing up.
Okay.
Correct. So this is my 5.
You sum up. Okay.
This is my 3-minute sum up.
Okay.
My 3-minute sum up is as follows. We're in a time-space hologram. The Bible doesn't apply. All these stories, all they are is software. The hardware is the timeline and the time-space hologram. And that's shifted to a different timeline called the positive timeline. And so it behooves everybody to take all their stuff, to throw it up in the air. If they have a 500-page manuscript, throw it up in the air, and then come in and redo it and relook at it with fresh eyes. Because we're in a new time-space hologram reality. And the rules that applied before under the old timeline don't apply now. And all the Planet X research, most of it has been done under the old timeline. That's why they spent $3 trillion building the underground bases. Nixon spent them in 1971 after Basiago went through a chronovisor in Project Pegasus and saw the U.S. Supreme Court building under 100 feet of brackish water. We're under different timeline rules now. And that was supposed to happen in June of 2013, and it didn't. Why? Because we're on a different timeline. So if you're in the business of prognosticating the future, or if you're just a regular human trying to prognosticate the future, my sincere professional advice as a person who's been in this business for 41 years is throw everything up in the world, everything you know up in the air, and recalibrate everything according to the new time science that has come in. Thank you very much.
60 seconds.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure knowing you, Gordon. Enjoy your thing up there in Maine. I used to go up there in Northeast Harbor to the estate right next to David Rockefeller's. He had some designs on me and tried to recruit me back in 1969. He failed. And, so that's why we're on a positive timeline, because he failed. Okay? That is a deep truth that I just said. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. I'm confused where to go next. Where should we go next? Okay, timer's done. I guess I'll back to Robert to wrap up your 3 minutes, and then we'll do Gordon and then Sasha and then me, just in case we went on time. Okay.
I want to thank you all for having me on here. It's been exciting. We had a little controversy and stuff. It's it's good for people to agree to disagree and have different opinions. And Gordon, I don't know you, of course. I respect you as a person and your experiences for what they are. Unfortunately, for me, I do have probably an opinion that is a little different than yours, especially in regards to the situation. When you were saying Pleiadians and stuff, I was confused for a great deal of the communication. And again, I'm not, I really don't know anything about the different genetic racial phenotypes out there other than what I've heard and what's been told. I'm hoping that the whole truth will be revealed to us all in 3 years' time, when everything is hopefully on, as Alfred said, a positive timeline, and that 90% of the population is saved, and we've moved forward, as you said, into a loving, telepathic, empathic group of people with positive messages and love for all. And I just want you to know I have no personal anything against you as a person or anything. I just disagree with prognosticating a negative future as if it's already happened. I think that the universe is infinite, open, holographic, and malleable to the spirit of truth. And I think that the Creator, and I think the very positive extraterrestrial groups that are here, are not here in vain to watch this planet be destroyed, but to help us move into a more positive timeline and future. And I mean no disrespect to you or to your lovely wife in any way. I hope you know that. Okay, Gordon?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
God bless you, brother. And thank you all. Thank you, Sasha and Jan, for having me on here today.
Thank you so much. Okay, Gordon, your 3 minute wrap up, and then over to me, Sasha.
Okay. Everything you do and you think and you do moment by moment changes your future, and that creates a probable future reality, which when a psychic looks at what your future reality is, that's the sum total of what you've done up to the moment. But when you do something tomorrow to make it better or worse, that changes your future reality. So we don't all have our own planet. We're all here together. I hate to say that having to deal with selfish people is a growing process. It's a learning process, but that's what it is. And the Earth is going to be just fine. Not everyone that's alive today is going to live forever, no matter what they think. And they're all going to die. And when they die, they will have a choice of being reborn in a new race, or they can go somewhere else. The people who are selfish will have to go to selfish planets, because you will be what you focus on. You will live the way you picture life. When you step on other people and you think they're not you and you're ahead as long as nobody caught you, you're auditioning for your life on a selfish planet. So I'm not really worried about the future. I've been told that government agents come to see me speak. And I say, come on and talk to me afterwards. I'll tell you things your bosses will never tell you. Now, I have a radio show on Revolution Radio every Friday night at midnight, from midnight to 2 in the morning Eastern Time. And you're welcome to listen to me. I've been on Coast to Coast 4 times. And so anyone that wants to investigate my line of thought a little further, they're welcome to do it every Friday night on Revolution Radio. In the meantime, I'll just say that Janet and I have had wonderful experiences with the Greys of unselfish love, total acceptance, unconditional love, and we wouldn't trade that for the world. And so anytime you say that there's all blacks are bad or all Hispanics are bad or any other group, all whites are bad, you can't say the same. You can't paint everyone with the same brush. There are selfish and unselfish reptile lizards, Greys, Pleiadians, the whole group, Andromedians, Sirians, Orions, the Arcturians, the whole group. There's good and bad everywhere. So you have to take them individually for what they are. But I will say like attracts like. So if you're unselfish, you will naturally attract into your sphere unselfish experiences and unselfish contacts. And I love you all, and thank you for letting me be on the radio, Janet.
Thank you. That's time. Sasha.
Okay. If you really can dig what's happening now, you're listening to a radio show on Revolution Radio, and it's good fun. I enjoy it. I bet you enjoy it, too. I love you all, and I want you to know that I support Andy Bashago for president, and that, like Donovan said, I love my shirt.
Okay,
right,
after that political announcement, I've got to say, I don't think Andy Bashago is qualified to be president. He lies. He just lied about me on Exopolitics Mars, and I'm for the collective presidency. We in the collective presidency party just offered him a ticket. He took it as an insult. I think Andy Bashago is brainwashed. I think he is a CIA brainwashed agent, and he is emotionally unstable and not qualified to be president. That's my political statement.
I'd like to mention before we go my website, thepromiserevealed.com, and I'm doing an event in Mount Shasta this summer. You're all invited to come and meet Omnek, the woman from Venus, and Alex Collier will be there along. We'll do a screening of the Pentagon, Stranger at the Pentagon this summer. You can check all that out on thepromiserevealed.com. Good night, y'all.
All right. Well, I want everybody to say their website. Alfred, how can people reach you?
They can go to newsinsideout.com.
Say it again, please.
Newsinsideout.com.
And that's a new site, relatively new site. Oh, we're done. Okay. Oh, no. It says 2 minutes remain. I don't know what time it is. I'm out here floating in space. And then does you have another website, Alfred?
Yes, exopolitics.com.
Okay. And Gordon, how can people reach you?
Well, I'm on Skype with the same name, Gordon.James.Gianninoto. Anyone's welcome. Just put something in there so I know that you're not some woman from Africa that wants me to send her a check. So.
Okay. Sasha, we got 1 minute.
NTSpeaks.com.
And we also have extraterrestrialcontact.com. And we have a new website called experiencersnetwork.com. And if you are an experiencer, meaning that you've had some kind of extraterrestrial contact or sightings or paranormal type activity, and you'd like to come on the radio show or tell us your story and write it up, or just join our website and be on the newsletter list that we're developing and be part of it. Okay, I think we are done with the timer. Except we're done to turn off. And so, anything else? Well, come on, we got like 30 seconds. What would you like to say, Sasha? I would like to thank everybody for joining us, Alfred, Gordon, and Robert. It's a very exciting show tonight. Lots of fun controversy.
And thank you, Sean Bell.
And thank you, producer Sean Bell.
Thank you, Sean.
There it is. There's our music. Thank you, everybody. Much love, aloha, and blessings.
revolutionradio.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Who owns you? If you're not in control, then someone else is. Join me, Ivy West, for Voices on the Wind, Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern in Studio A. I discuss government, health, metaphysics, suppressed science, universal mysteries, little-known incredible facts, alternative energies, and even more than you can imagine. Won't you join us on Revolution Radio Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern for Voices on the Wind with me, Ivy West.
There are lives in the balance, people under fire, children at the cannons.
Because if your head's in the sand, your tail is a target.